pow, wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Pile number 3, and I'm super excited to be with you guys. As always, we'll dive into love the community, then talk about what's happening on the markets. And in today's content, we're especially going to talk about listing new tokens, about Radium. We're talking about what's happening on the markets, what the macro perspective, especially after the launch of the ETF of Bitcoin. And we're going to talk a little bit about the SwissBorgs too. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Fazel. I'm the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. And before going into this, let's talk about the question of the week. Does anyone have any insight to how SwissBorg registration with the UK FCA is coming along? This YouTube video raised a lot of different worrying doubts. So essentially, what is being done in the UK, as UK is no more part of Europe, you have to be regulated with the FCA in order to market to essentially UK users. So first thing first, we are completely allowed to onboard UK residents and users. That's why we continue offering our offers. We have just right now applied recently for getting licenses in order to market to essentially our wonderful UK users. And we do hope that this will go smoothly as things go, and making sure that we're compliant, of course, and that we are in the right path in order to be eligible to go back to talk to our wonderful UK users sooner than later. News of the week, the worst kind of decentralized is not at all. This is something that's very funny. A lot of people have been talking about the fact that essentially Bitcoin is getting centralized. But what I see is more than that, and we'll talk right after. Talking about bull markets, Circle's filed for IPO. We've seen in the last cycle, in the third cycle, that Coinbase was the biggest IPO of all time. Now let's see what Circle is all going to be doing. Circle, as you guys know, is one of the biggest, number 2 stablecoin in the world, USDC behind it. And this is something that's going to shake the entire NASDAQ, that's for sure. Other thing that obviously this is the biggest news of this current last week is the ETF of Bitcoin, and we're going to talk about right after. This is obviously crazy, and where we're heading now with the fact that this is finally be legitimized. That Bitcoin as ETF has been offered to every normie around the world. What is very nice to talk about as well is Ether. Ether essentially is pumping by the fact that people are buying the rumor of it's going to be an ETF, it's going to be approved, and there's a lot of money that will be poured into ETF in this wonderful ETF, and not selling essentially the buying the rumor, not selling the news. So yes, finally, after all, it is crazy to see that Bitcoin has been legitimate from the big financial TradFi gurus, right? From Larry Fink saying how much Bitcoin is going to change the world itself by being a digital gold, but how the technology behind it of blockchain and crypto is going to change essentially how we interact, how we invest, and how we building the financial future of this planet. I think so. What we've seen in the last few days, less than a week, is finally, you could talk to everyone and say that Bitcoin is completely legitimate. It was always legitimate. We knew that, but most people didn't. And now it is finally, the stamp has been proved. Crazy battle, though, what happened with SEC last week. It was really a shit show. Let's put it that way, where we didn't know if it was going to be listed, not listed. It just went in all the different directions. And at the end, it finally was voted for 3 against 2 that said no, and Gary himself actually approved it, which was quite funny to see that they tried to, if you guys remember the first video that we tried the the first video that we put, which was,
you can't stop things like Bitcoin. It will be everywhere, and the world will have to readjust. We're only at the beginning of a new era, and things are getting pretty wild, aren't they? Blockchain's limits, ICO hype, overfitting of crypto, pump and dump coins, cyber threats, volatility risks, misinformation, greedy traders, scam, hack, lack of instrument, human error. The question is not what to invest in, but how to invest and where to invest safely.
What if together we create a Swiss cyber advisor owned by you? What if a community trusted based cyber advisor would create a tailor-made investment mandate for you? What if your cyber advisor would offer highly optimized portfolio management with AI, latest payment solutions with IoT, and highly secured exchange? What if your cyber advisor would be based on a meritocratic system where every contributor of the community would be rewarded in tokens?
So hop on the train and join the coalition that will reshape blockchain's financial world forever.
Going back to what I was saying, look, you can't stop Bitcoin. It's inevitable. You can't stop Web3. It's inevitable. You can't stop SwissBorg. It's inevitable. And I think that, right now we just have legitimated the space, the industry, the asset class in a way that no one has ever done. Bitcoin was potentially a thing, but now it's not a thing. It's a catalyst that's changing how people interact and how value is perceived. And this is something that's fundamentally different from any other things. This is a shift, a massive paradigm shift that's happening in societies where Web3 is exactly the thing that will unveil financial freedom for the braves, borgers, but more importantly, how we interact, how we change, and how we perceive value in such a different way. The first day obviously was very good to have a lot of ETFs exchanged, from iShares, Fidelity, and many, many others such as BlackRock finally was able to get to list ETF and celebrate this IPO. This IPO where now you can't say just that Bitcoin is just a small thing. It's a new thing, a new asset class. It's a new way of building technologies for communities. It's a new way to finally potentially de-dollarize as well the world, to make it more neutral, a way to finally give back what we deserve, which is community members to manage their wealth in the best way possible. The net catalyst for Bitcoin itself is obviously what we've been working is the halving. And we've seen that old post after the halvings period. Look what happened. You had big halving happen and then boom, halving happened, boom, halving happened, and boom. So history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So this is going to be probably the same thing. So we still have until April where we're going to have some bumpy rides. There's probably on the short run, we're going to probably see that we're going to channel somewhere until we're going to break those, 44 and they will go to 50 or 50, we're going to break it and go to the next leg, right? And this is something that is very, very, very good. Because if you look at all these different cycles, and let's do cycle 2, because the first one was a different one, let's say to some extent, and more importantly, it was a small one in terms of adoption. But even if you look at the first one and look at the second one and the third one, they all have the same patterns, which is that it's built, right? So this one was definitely not a very healthy one. That's why it dropped massively. So what you really want is have steps. There's always steps, like in life. You grow up, you go steps. You go too high, eventually you're going to climb, you get tired, you're going to fall down, right? What you need is these steps that channel up and down, these head and shoulder patterns that enables you to essentially, say like, okay, I ran really fast up, climbed it up, I'm a little bit tired, I plateau, I relax a bit, then I move to the next one. And you saw that many of these red candles happen third and fourth in the second and third cycle, and even the first one happened 5 to 8 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right here. And then if you look at the second cycle, same thing pretty much. You have the same amounts of gone, and the fourth cycle will probably have the same amount, like 5 to 7 different essentially big drawdowns, so more than 10%, double-digit drawdowns, in order to say like, okay, we went crazy, we partied a bit too much. Let's go down, relax, find a plateau, and then build to the next leg. So what does this mean essentially for the market? So right now, the main catalyst is that you buy the rumor, you sell the news. This is more and more common, and we've seen this with Bitcoin. So very much is going to probably be the same with Ethereum. Ethereum was not so excited last year. I mean, it got some excitement, right? But it was not as exciting than Bitcoin, and recently not either. Dominance of Bitcoin has been growing. But this is going to change, right? We have that king-queen type of relationship where sometimes you have to please the king and sometimes you look at the queen. And of course, I'm always bullish on the Queen for the long run. And so such as Ethereum. And Ethereum right now is going to be the one we really need to look into, allocate, and the layer 2s that go with it, which is essentially Arbitrum, which we talked about last week, and Optimism. And they might be in other different layer 2s that will come up. But for now, I think so. I think me personally, Arbitrum is one I'm the most excited about. So this is definitely the play to go. So if you guys want to trade, I think so this is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be more volatility there. And probably as soon as the Queen gets validated and does her IPO through an ETF, through multiple different ETFs, and gets the final yes from the Pop himself, SEC, then things are going to look very, very, very well for the entire space. Talking about great tokens, let's talk about Radium. As you guys know, it's definitely a really, really interesting play. It's been one of the main DeFi protocols on Solana itself. Radium itself, it's a decentralized exchange. They have a launch pad too. They have staking. They have some yield farming on it. But it's really known for a decentralized exchange. It's one of the oldest one itself. Today, it has essentially a very big amount of trading, which is spot. We use it as a protocol on our MEX. So this is definitely something that we do enjoy a lot. Not only it's comparable to Orca. If you look at Radium itself in terms of noise or in terms of market cap, it has had obviously a big, nice pump that happened with the Solana craze last year. And but we're still extremely far away from its old times high. And I think so this is something that is very interesting to see. So I think so right now we're at 600 million, which is quite a lot. I'm not saying that. Yeah, so the fully diluted market cap is 600 million, but right now they're still at 50% that's probably in the treasury of the company. So there's only 300 million that's on the market itself, which is, good enough. It's traded a bit everywhere, of course. Then there's Orca, which is a competitor. And then there's Jupiter that's on top of it, which essentially is aggregating the both of it, which is definitely one that we'll talk about in the future. And they're going to be launching their token probably soon. So if you look at the all-time high, we're still very, very far away from what it is, right? The total price last time in the bull market was around 16, and right now we're only at $1.20. 16, I see this is very, very, it seems difficult to get to there. That means 12x of what it is, which right now that would be $7 billion. But hey, who knows? You never know how these things go in crypto, right? So if you look like right now, obviously, since it's not crazy, it went a little bit crazy, right? So it went from 20 cents to 120, but now we're really down now at no more than that. It went almost to almost $1 to $2, and now it's turning at 120. So we definitely think that this is probably still a very interesting token to have if you believe in Solana ecosystem, which we do. And this is still one of the big DeFi protocol that Solana is embracing. Community member of the week. It's more than a community. It's actually a decentralized application. It's called SwissBorg. You probably heard about it. You probably been over talking about it, and you're probably already farming a lot of points. I think SwissBorg is really one of those very interesting one. Comes from the founder, Maxime himself. He used to be an intern at SwissBorg, so from zero to hero, and he came up with this very, very, very exciting idea, which was that what people are the most passionate about regarding entertainment. And for him is definitely what's happening right now, which essentially is podcasts, YouTubers, any type of things where you could essentially be able to communicate in a great way with our community members. The difference is that most of these podcasts is always one-way stream. So essentially, SwissBorg wants to tackle this problem by empowering, enlightening, essentially communities to communicate, but to build in a way, a meritocratic way to reward people in a fun and great way. So I think so. This is really why SwissBorg is changing this. If you're not a part of SwissBorg, just go on Twitter right now. Go on SwissBorg app, follow it, try to participate into the dashboard by essentially creating by linking your Twitter account or X accounts, and you start farming essentially different points. There's a lot of things to do there. if you're a part of the Borg community, you've already probably seen this a million times, but share it to the world, because this is a great way where you're going to finally see social fi within SwissBorg in a very nice way. And it's a brilliant team that's behind it. A lot of youngsters that have this great energy that really want to change this industry. So hats off to the entire team. And of course, you'll hear more about SwissBorg in a very short time. Next events, we have a lot of cool events that are happening next week coming to your town, hopefully. We're starting next week, Monday, with Zurich, then Paris, Brussels, London. My brother, Alex, myself, and Min and Christoph, and a big list of people will be going there. All these events are for you, but not only SwissBorg is going to be there. We're going to be talking about, of course, Web3, about the Borg. We're going to be talking about as well the macro outcome. We're going to be talking about as well Camino, how they're changing essentially the DeFi within Solana ecosystem. And we're going to be talking about Galactica, new layer 1, that some people already know a little bit about it, and how this is going to change the game. So a lot of events happening. Scan the Telegram group if you want more information. You could already buy your tickets. I know most of the tickets are already sold out in most places, but there's still few spots left, and burgers, you'll always figure out how to get it. And worst case scenario, just come and you'll make it. And so this will happen next week: Zurich, Paris, Brussels, London. I'll be there at all the 4 events, and I'm looking forward. But we have more of that for the people that want to get into crypto for the first times. We'll have 3 sessions happening in Switzerland, one in Geneva, in Valais, and Lausanne. And we'll have a community meetup as well next week for beers and having fun. Just want to shout out to the People team update quickly. Just say that, look, it's quite crazy when you think about it, that there's only 0.28% of chances of getting at the SwissBorg, which is quite crazy. As you guys realize, recently we're hiring more and more people that are earning engineers. So just shout out to the whole essentially HR team, which is doing a great job there. And this is the life at SwissBorg. So if you're interested in joining us, of course, we have a lot of cool stuff that's happening all the time. And we have great positions. So yeah, shout out to the People team that I love very much. SwissBorgs, we've been waiting for it. Scan this and try to give your best advice of how to deliver this in the best way possible. CH's, Borg. Weekly Borg data, guys, 468, that's really high. Pretty much 200 plus people in the app, but it's not too bad. Hopefully more new users could come to buy some Borg, or just current users that understand the value of it, which bring us to the community in Dix. Cast your score. Yes, it's going to be a good one. A very high, 8.9, one of the best one. Everything is doing well. Everything is green, and you know what I mean. Beautiful burgers. What can I say? Things are going in the right direction. We finally got legitimated the whole entire space industry. This is just going to propel us into this new crazy cycle. Obviously, SwissBorg is going to tap into it. Your guys are going to tap into it already. And this is just going to help us to really, promote the space, legitimate the space, bring more people to get to understand this, and who has the best user experience around the world, who has the best community around the world, and who has a real mission of financial freedom. It's us burgers. And for that, I'm so excited that next week I'll see you guys in Zurich, in Paris, Brussels, and London. As always, be wealthy, be healthy, love our Borg and equity. Take care, guys. Much love.
Through SwissBorg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here is the thing.
Premium features gives you 0 fee trading.
It's an amazing fiat gateway.